Welcome Prep 1 students. Today we will talk about the last part in our first lesson, which is matter and its characteristics. In the previous parts we talked about the physical properties that we can use to distinguish between different elements or different materials. We talked first about color, taste and smell, density, melting point, boiling point and hardness. Today we will complete the physical properties. First, or the sixth physical property, which is electric conductivity. We can say that materials are classified according to their electrical conductivity into good conductors of electricity and bad conductors of electricity. First, we will talk about the good conductors of electricity. Good conductors of electricity are materials that allow electricity to pass through, like metals. We studied before that metals are good conductors of electricity. Acidic and alkaline solutions are good conductors of electricity. Some salt solutions are good conductors of electricity. So good conductors, they are substances that allow electricity to pass through. The second part, bad conductors of electricity. They are materials that don't allow electricity to pass through. So bad conductors, substances don't allow electricity to pass through, like nonmetals, sugar solution, solution of sodium chloride in benzene, and gases. So materials classified according to the electric conductivity into good conductors of electricity and bad conductors of electricity. Application on electric conductivity. We can say that the electric wires are made of copper or aluminium and they are covered with plastic. Give reason. Electric wires are made of copper and aluminium and covered with plastic layer. Because copper or aluminium are good conductors of electricity, while plastic is bad conductor of electricity. The second one, the screwdriver is made of steel iron and their handles are made of wood or plastic. Give reason. Screwdrivers are made of steel iron while their handles are made of wood or plastic. Because steel iron is good conductor of electricity while wood or plastic is or are bad conductors of electricity. The last physical property in this lesson is thermal conductivity. Materials are classified according to their thermal conductivity into good conductors of heat. They are materials that allow heat to pass through, like metals such as iron and copper. And bad conductors of heat, not electricity. They are materials that don't allow heat to flow through. Materials that don't allow heat to flow through. Like wood and plastic. So in thermal conductivity, the materials classified into good conductors of heat and the bad conductors of heat. Good conductors, materials that allow heat to pass through, and bad conductors, materials that don't allow heat to pass through. Then life application on thermal conductivity. Cooking pots or cooking pans are made of aluminium because aluminium is good conductor of heat. Handles of cooking pans are made of wood or plastic because wood and plastic are bad conductors of heat. So we finished the physical properties that we can use to distinguish between different materials. 7 physical properties: color, taste and smell, density, melting point, boiling point, hardness, electric conductivity and thermal conductivity. Finally, we will talk about the chemical properties metals and chemical activity. Metals can be classified according to their chemical activity into three groups. We can classify metals according to their chemical activity, their ability to react, to do chemical reaction. Metals can be classified into very active metals. The very active metals, they are the metals that react with oxygen as soon as being exposed to humid air, or they react with oxygen in air and lost their metallic cluster. They lose their metallic cluster, such as sodium and potassium. So again, the very active metals, they are metals that react with oxygen as soon as being exposed to air and lose their luster. The second type, give examples of very active metals, sodium and potassium. And we can say that sodium and potassium are kept under kerosene surface. We can't put them in air, so we keep sodium and potassium under the surface of kerosene because, or to prevent their reaction with atmospheric oxygen. Sodium and potassium, they are very active metals. They are kept under kerosene surface to prevent their reaction with atmospheric air. The second type is less active metals. They are metals which react with oxygen if they are left in air, but they take a long period of time and they form a layer of rust, like iron, aluminium and copper. And finally, the inactive metals, they don't react with oxygen of the air, like silver, gold and platinum. They don't react with oxygen. So we classified metal into very active, react with oxygen immediately, less active, react but they take a period of time, inactive, don't react with oxygen. They are used to cover the objects which is made of iron to protect them from rusting. Life application on chemical activity. First, as we said, the sodium and potassium kept under kerosene surface to prevent with to prevent the reaction with atmospheric air. Steel bridges and holders of light bulbs are painted from time to time to avoid rusting, to protect them from rusting. So we paint steel bridges and the holders of light bulbs from time to time. Metallic spare parts of the car are covered with grease to avoid also their rusting. They are covered with grease to protect them from rusting and corrosion. Washing of cooking pans made of aluminium with rough objects. Washing of cooking pans made of aluminium with rough objects to remove any layer formed on them. To remove any layer formed on them. We can say also that silver and gold used in making jewelries. Silver and gold used in making jewelries because they are inactive. They don't react with oxygen. Also, nickel, gold and silver are used to cover the substance that rapidly gain rust. We said that this object is silver plated. Why? We use silver to plate objects to protect them from rusting. We have finished the last part in the first unit or the first lesson. I hope you study it now. Thank you very much. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.